this week. I'm just waiting for everyone to jump on. I've got a lot of interest. I want to just say in general, it's not just tummy time. So there was a great response or a question saying, when is it not okay for tummy time, or when is it too late? I'm not here to find fault in any child. Okay, my mission statement is to eradicate special needs. I'm sorry. I just, not that I can jump across a computer and fix everybody. It's not about that. I want more awareness. There's way too much delay into getting help. I know, like, services here, if you don't have a diagnosis, you're not getting the services. The average age for CP diagnosis is 18 months, which is ridiculous when half the time they can be done when they're an hour old, at least to say you're at very high risk. These are your steps you need to take. As a matter of fact, I'm doing something about it. So right now, we're about to put out a free course, just vision in your child, just to go over basic diagnoses, nystagmus, astigmatism, cortical visual impairment, but as well as binocular convergence, words that I use and words that other people use, so that you get just a brief description. But also what I'm including in that is just a basic checklist. If this is what you're dealing with, and then this is your more of your medical reference, but also then your movement reference of what your game plan should be, just to give you more direction. My son Graham is now 17. I have a big baby, 17 and a half. And he right now is working on a 6,000 piece Lego. My boys have multitasking like their mother. They're pretty creative and they're pretty intense. I mean, getting a lot of stuff done. My son did get vaccinated at 13 months and contracted Haemophilus influenza. So he got the Hib vaccine, and instead of getting the antibodies, he got the infection. It went in between his sepnoids, hi Dorota. He lost about 60% muscle mass, whatever. Had I been doing everything that I'm teaching you, I would have known, first of all, my son just regressed to a 3-month level. Not a clue. I just thought my son was sick and he would be better. He was walking, talking, cruising. He could use utensils. I still don't have utensils back. He lives off of Chick-fil-A and pizza. And I think part of it is just because he just, again, eating just as a general is a problem, but my son had a massive sinus infection for 3 years. So do you want to eat when you've got migraines and sinus infections? No. And he just learned to eat to survive and not for pleasure. I don't think he's had a happy meal. No pun intended with McDonald's, but I mean, I could sing over everything, especially spaghetti. Claudia and I, when we go out together, oh boy, we're just in hog heaven, and it's just off of food. I was told outright, I'm so tired of parents like you. You either want somebody that plays for the Lakers or an Einstein. And I'm like, well, considering I'm probably not going to have either one, can I just have my kid back? You know what I mean? I had no idea. It wasn't until, now this was at 13 months. So that was about in February. In August, I was dropping my son off to school, to preschool, which was a developmentary preschool, like a 10-4 ratio. And she's like, what's going on with this one? Again, this is how flippant people can be, And I'm like, I don't know. It's just been under the weather. And she's like, you're going to the doctors today and you're calling early intervention. Like you're in trouble. I didn't have a clue. Like, that was the first person knocked me over the head. But again, she gave me some direction, but I just didn't understand the severity, and I didn't understand I could do something about it. And that's my plight. So I'm a mom first, and then somehow I became a movement specialist, and you're watching me now. I just want to say is that as far as movement's concerned, it's never too late to influence your child. Did you see me last week roll around? I'm 55 years old. You know what I mean? I could do it right now. I don't have to warm up. I can just do it. And I'll fight you and kick your butt. You know what I mean? I'm almost a black belt. That doesn't count being almost, but I'm a red belt with a black stripe. Whatever. And again, it's not a brag. I just know I can do certain things with movement. And now there's a lot of things I cannot do anymore. I'm really upset I can't put an 80-pound bag over my shoulder. We were doing that in workouts. Claudia can do it and Betsy can do it. I got it, but it didn't stay. Things like that. But hey, I tried. And I try every day. And every day, maybe someday I have good days, just like our kids, and some days we have bad days. I just want to say is this policy of not doing a functional movement evaluation on a child, functional visual evaluation on a child, baby in particular, being told you have a deadline as to when rolling over should happen, like as if 7 months is a magic number, or my child is actually 8 months old, but in reality they're only 5 months old. No, they were born 8 months ago. There are some realities that need to be taken. I'm not waiting for to your child to fail. I'm like your coach. You know, I don't want you to go out there and fail. Come on, you can do it. You'll get it eventually. No, I want you to win, and I'm not trying to push you, and I'm not trying to find fault. But it is clear to me, if I just see a video where the little glitches or pieces aren't lining up, you shouldn't be looking for help for your baby. But if you are, you're going to get it. This is not a wait and see place. This is a plan of action place at any age. And I just had a very good client of mine I hadn't seen since 2013, and he had a stroke 21 days ago. You know, he got checked out that route, and guess where he's here, you know, because he knew better. And he was just, why am I feeling like this is, it's not like it's happy. What's happening? I said, your body knows it can work again, and it's finding its happy place. It's a different language than, oh, you make me happy. But it's intense to be privileged to be helping people like that. There's another woman that just had a heart attack recently. Claudia's been helping. It's amazing to see the difference way she walked in and now what she's doing. You know, you really don't see any of the paralysis that's going on and just the brightness of her eyes. So you're never too old. There's no waiting around. I'm not looking for fault. Nobody here is looking for fault. Everybody here, the best gift you can give your child is movement. No difference that if you're pushing a child on a swing. You saw it with Erin this weekend. She decided, you know, her child has SMA. Hi, Glenda. They did a swing session. She's there doing movement lesson because her child, again, needing that sitting independently. Guess what? Julia sat up for the first time today, got into sitting on her own. You know, that's remarkable for SMA and what she's been doing. So again, she took movement lesson to the swing. Perfect opportunity. You know, it doesn't have to be a therapy session, but it's just being available and knowing when's a good time to just throw in some extra movement. But you never know what you're going to get if you don't try. And that's what we're here for. So anyway, I hope I'm not rambling, but I really want to get into today. Please, with your posting your videos, again, if I don't get to it right away, because it is free, first of all. I am busy, and I don't mean to say that facetiously. I do these lives once a week. I'm going to try to see if I can do it more on Friday, because y'all can't wait over the weekend, because that's when it's like, if you are going to contact me, it's through Movement Lesson. I do have a private Facebook group, but I mean, Movement Lesson is my business, and your inquiries are going to go there. Even if you come to me personally, they're just going to be, you know, I'm going to ask you to please go over to Movement Lesson, because I get it. I'm trying to be here for everyone. So with that, I am apologizing right off the bat. I am going to do the best with enunciating your name, but I need Savitri here. Shanmu Sundari. I'm doing my best. I apologize if I'm off. I understand what is going on with your son. He's 19 months old. I do understand with your situation. The first thing I want to say, and again, I know nothing of his health needs, and I have not seen you. You are in a situation to consider a PEG. I want to tell you just personally, and you can ask around, it is the biggest regret in my life, because my son does live off of pizza and Chick-fil-A, and I get it. He's mobile. He's a black belt. He's a Life Scout. He does incredible things, including a 6,000-piece Lego that he's doing now. I can't pop the tank and put in oils and so forth, or any good nutrition to him, and be more of a complete mother. It is so hard for him right now in his nasal. Now again, if you are in India, a PEG is not a big option due to the medical care and just beliefs. That being said, please then, I have 2 courses. One is either head and vision, and the other one is on swallowing. Actually, I'm going to go with the swallowing. His facial bones are really having a hard time moving. Between the seizures, hitting from the inside out. So one of the things is, and I'm taking a little bit longer, guys, but when you have sutures in between the skull, right? So here, sorry. Ugh. Office of Props. If you can see this at all, right? So these are your sutures. These are the bones that go in between the head, right? And that's your occipital bone, like say. So these sutures, I look at them as fine motor skills. When you have West, there's so many seizures that's going on. You really have a problem with that frontal lobe getting hit, the front bone, and this, and then on top of that, he's got the NG2. The weight, so he's got to pivotally, what happens with the NG tube is, see how my eyes float back and forth like that? They tendency to be here, and it fixes the eyes, because what he's trying to do is lift the head with his eyes, and really that causes a lot of issues. So it is, if you're considering it, again, I'm not a doctor, I don't know your health needs, I don't know if he's even unable to get a G-tube. But if not, please do the head and the vision course first. We've got to lighten his head. He needs to be seen by an ophthalmologist, because it's just putting so much eye strain as well of him. Just like, you try that. Try and pick up your head with your eyes. First of all, you can't see anybody. And then when you do go to see, because I'm holding my head up with my eyes, you know, and that's where you get that drop. And so he has he's not going to learn how to, you know, get an eye float and things like that, and he really needs help that way. And that's the route I would go, and that's why you're finding so much labor in the spine and pelvis, because there's just so much going on here, and we really need to bring in that midline crossing and rotation. So thanks, guys. I don't normally do extra time on these kind of things, but he needs it. Anna, gosh, he's just so handsome. That being said, I would go to the ophthalmologist. These are the concerns here. I do it better with my right eye versus my left, but I think he has just a bit of astigmatism. The way he wants to come in with the eye, just a bit here. And so where he's getting is he's got a very strong midline, and I don't see, except for a little bit here and there, where the eyes can float off and so forth. So in other words, at his age, you should have more of a vision where if I'm picking up something from here, up, back, those kind of movements. Again, about the pelvis too. Pubic bone strike with him, and also chest crossing midline. But I have a feeling, again, the midline and the pubic bone midline, all that is really getting hooked up in the vision. Working on bringing in the vision off here for that peripheral, but you want a counter with that, a counter, right? Versus just if you watch both videos, he's really just pretty straight. And with that, then he can't go into all fours and can't go into all fours, just due to that conversation. So that's where I would be going. Farah. Was your daughter intubated? The reason I ask, because there's a bit of the gap here, and that suggests that intubation. It could just be, again, just genetics and just the family, just, you know, bringing the chin up over. But I am concerned that also, because of that, if you just see, look at me, and this is where you're getting not only that the head tilt back and forth from that, but you're getting where the issues of crossing midline and then going more so into the pubic bone strike. She's got the goods. Socially, she's really there, and she's very aware, and her language skills are really good. But she really has very little pubic bone strike. It's something to be looking into. I have the unit here that you need to go into for the pubic bone. That would help with that. But I also would look again and just double check on that. If she was intubated, the head and the swallow course or the head and the vision would be really good for her. Sumana, I know you wrote down that he has CVI. I wanted to say right now, and this is, I'm coming out with a course on vision in your child. CVI is the absolute last thing that you're dealing with. Your son, first of all, has a pretty decent script, which I don't know what that is. Uh, yes, I do, James. But I can put that on the group. Um, when you're working with, first of all, he has esotropia, so the one eye is coming in. So he's really got midline issues, and this is where too. He's quote stable in sitting. His vision is so poor, not CVI. He does not have binocular vision. He does not have convergence. He has esotropia. You have to do, I really would suggest my patching course. He really needs to get stronger with the eyes. And because he has no depth perception, when you're working with them, don't pull it so far away. I know you think you're trying to encourage the movement. He is so locked up on his balance that if you go just too far, he's just making the decision, he's gonna just lose his balance and fall, and he doesn't want to fall. So he's very intelligent, but that's another thing too. If you watch him, he's literally like he's just so rigid and staying there, more so because again he can't twist and do that. So then I would go after the chest and the midline crossing with that, but the patching course and really understanding where his midline is at and helping him there really is necessary. CVI, again, I understand CVI. CVI is a processing disorder. In your case, the reason your child's not processing is because the structure of the eye is off. So the structure is what has to be helped. Nicole, great. So your plan of action is the newborn assessment. I know you're past newborn. I just want you to get familiar with that, but also the rolling over course. What is going on also is I would like you to get checked out by an ophthalmologist. I see intermittent vision. I'm concerned about the momentum of vision, meaning if you look, not to compare, but just for eyes, right behind you was Tiffany's son. And you'll see, again, very similar situations. So what I'm going to tell you both is that midline needs to happen in rolling to roll over. And the chest and the spine are not crossing midline. But if you notice, right, he's going off and he's got it visually. I'm a little bit concerned of just that vision actually in your case is not drawing into that rolling over. It's sort of like, okay, and which could suggest too that she is, thank you very much, James. It could indicate too that she might actually be a bit either nearsighted or farsighted, where she's not seeing and I'm saying see, I apologize if it's not. A lot of the outfits, and I don't remember off the top of my hand. If Betsy was here, sometimes too, she'll note the child if we know in blue or green, but I'm just looking. And so when you go to roll over, I see the ball and it takes me over. What I was concerned about, and I know you were just shooting the camera and trying to do it to showing by hand, when you went to roll over, the vision didn't automatically go. And that just should be a constant. So I would just, especially if you're noticing too, and again, if you don't get that you can spend this time with your child to get that depth of vision. If they're looking, there's a difference between here where I'm looking at you and I'm looking towards you. You see how, in a sense, I don't, you know what I mean? So there's a directionality, but there's not, that's a vision, right? And that's the difference between having the binocular and the convergence. But what also can happen if let's say she's a little farsighted, she's not seeing near, so she's not working on that local convergence. I did see it a little bit intermittently, but I just would like to rule that out, that's just where she just doesn't have the right stimulus to go roll over, but the rolling over course would be great, or just going straight to the newborn assessment, whichever works for you, do the one then the other. But you have a right to interfere and just help move better. Tiffany, sort of similar situation, but different. You have a situation where your son is having difficulty and for whatever reason can't cross midline in his torso area. You really know that it's becoming an issue. Please don't go so far with the vision. His vision is good. You should never ever see a baby. And actually, can I get you to follow me for a second. Thanks. Going down on the table. So, what a great shot. So, what, just tilted, just this, okay. So what you should not see with your baby is, so he's like here. So what I'm always looking for is a relationship of my pubic bone. You should never ever see a baby at a 90-degree angle, right? If they go here, there should either be the counter with their pelvis, right? There's always a counter, because that's how I'm working on sitting up and sitting up. And so if I'm here, right? So my vision is becoming better than what my body can move. Don't let, right now you're just at a key area. Don't let that become too dominant. So what's going to start happening is if he wants to see something above him, that's where you're next going to be calling, my baby's starting to arch, right? Because the vision's going, but the body just can't keep up with it, because again, I'm not crossing midline. And that's where you're going to see those gaps. Stephanie, I don't know what you just messengered me if you're watching me live, but your appointment's in an hour, not in 5 minutes. Okay. I was trying to study Russian. It didn't work out too well because all of a sudden they asked me to spell, and I wasn't paying attention to the Cyrillic. I could actually repeat and do pretty good, but I'm trying to see it in Cyrillic and pronounce it. So, and Batna. So I apologize if that's not right. So your daughter did go to the ophthalmologist, which is awesome. What you have to take into consideration there again is, first of all, we're going to wait to see what the glasses are. So actually, if you can show me where she's at with that. But honestly, when you're dealing with the atrophies and so forth, now I wouldn't necessarily suggest a patching course because that's not where you're at. But you have to know your child's characteristics for each eye. Just because someone has a general atrophy and you have intermittent strabismus and all sorts of things like that, what you want to do now, it wouldn't be a full-on patch. I just want to know the characteristics. You're going to cover an eye and you're going to look, again, find the field. This is where a lot of you guys are doing my cognitive vision course, and I'm not suggesting you need to do it and so forth, but the cognitive vision course that's what you're going to be learning. Everything that I know for the most part about movement in eyes is coming out in that course. It's a 4-day seminar, but what you start doing, and you'll see it more with the diamond scale assessment, but you're going to get that characteristics. So we need to see where each eye is happy seeing. Once we know where each eye is happy seeing, this is where I really stress. Then we have to go after the binocular vision. So in other words, I have eyes happy seeing here. And remember, so when you'll learn more about this in the vision course that I'm doing, and again, that's totally free, and it's going to have a whole checklist for basic diagnosis, for movements, what you need to work on. But 1 and 1 equals 1. That's what vision is, right? So I have 2 eyes, but 1 plus 1 equals 1. So the eye here, for the most part, has to be the same range as this eye. And so with that, they meld together, and that's where your vision comes from. So when the eyes are off, let's say, right? So I might have 1 plus 1. Now you can't say 1 plus 1 equals 1, right? Because I'm off. That's where I get depth perception issue, lack of convergence, lack of binocular vision, let's say. So you really want to go into where, again, finding out where each vision is. It's just like if you're driving down the road and you've got a headlight out of alignment. You'll see that in 3 seconds. So this is where, guys, you need to start just seeing it. When the alignment is off, I'm not trying to say again, so here's my eye alignment off, right? It's quite obvious, right? But when it's your own child, it's not always as obvious. Even when someone tells me, oh, it's pseudostrabismus. No, what you're seeing here is strabismus. You can't blame it on my eyeshadow and so forth. I can't see you. But what's most important, I believe, about our children, we can't say we don't see you because we think that this is normal. And so here I am talking away, but I have an eye alignment issue right now. right? And actually, I can't really see Claudia, but like the top of her head is past my camera. That's actually more in vision of me, my long vision. I cannot see, again, so here I am. Okay, so now I'm back to the camera. So that's what you want to look at, is where the vision's happy place is, right? So just like, okay, I think my car alignment is off. What do? I go against the garage door and I turn my lights on. And I can see, oh yeah, for sure, it's off. I need to adjust this, right? Maybe I hit a pothole or whatever. You don't have this anymore because you have LEDs. But back in my day, we had lights. And they would get off, and that's what we would do. Well, vision is very similar to that. And so you're looking for the alignment, and then after we have that happy place, that alignment, now we got to start getting it together. That's number 2. And then we need to get it going here. That is way more important, or what has to be done first. Now, on top of that, if I have a processing disorder or something separate, which is either delayed maturation or cortical visual impairment, that's when you start going, okay, maybe I have to find my happy place with 1 or 2 toys, maybe stick with something that's red or blue. My son did not see yellow whatsoever. How do I know? We would bounce. Red ball, yellow. And for red and blue, we would get a glimpse, but yellow, there was no acknowledgement. Some tests are that simple, and some, again, maybe today he was good with yellow and tomorrow, nope. So you get that intermittent. And that's where CVI comes into play. I know it's more than that. I don't mean to be flippant by saying stuff really quickly, but that's what we're looking at. And so that's what you would need to do now. We need to do that with the glasses on and without the glasses off. So now you can start judging how glasses are helping your child, but at the same time is they might be interfering. Maybe where the frames are at and so forth. So now the frames are here. Maybe right off the bat, you want to watch that peripheral vision. I still say you have to come a bit closer with her vision. So these are things to take into consideration. So right off the bat, what's new? I just told you, it's a free course. It's called Vision in Your Child. I'm going after binocular convergence, tracking, following, midline as some of your functional movements with vision. I'm also going over like nystagmus, strabismus, cortical visual impairment, delayed maturation, as some of the visual diagnoses that are more common. I get into all the nitty-gritties of diagnoses in the cognitive vision course. This is basically going to give you a checklist of what to work with your child as far as when they have a diagnosis, and then your possibilities for movement approaches so you can see. But more so just for your information of just quickies like I do here, of you just to get a general understanding of what binocular vision really means to your child, let's say, or again, following versus tracking, which is completely different than sporadic vision, let's say. So those come into play. We just did a great 2 courses on the pool. So for the summertime, we've got movement lesson pool time, underwater. So we've got that. We've got, another, quote, free course, how to set up your movement lesson studio. I know a lot of people say, where do you get your balls? Where do you get this? Where do you get that? Your table. That's just going to be all under one course. I hope you realize, too, when you do any of these courses that are off of movementlesson.academy, they're also a phone app. So for those of you, again, that are on the go or you're in a studio or whatever what you're doing, you can get it on your phone, your iPad. It's not just a computer-based program, but it's an app. And then cognitive vision. If you sign up, okay, hold on. Hold on. So, the cognitive vision course is coming up. If you do it, I think by the end of this month, it's $100 cheaper. One of the reasons I did it is so I can get the books to you. If you don't sign up till the day before the course starts, you know what I mean? I've got shipping, and the books have to come to you. So, that's being handled. And so I gave you basically a discount just so I could ship. And when I ship, by the way, like lasers and everything, all that's included. Anything to do with the courses, because like the laser course has 5 books plus the laser, so that's a bigger box. Vision in Your Child, I'm just making sure rolling over is pretty new, and then again, what I did already cover it is first of all, your ophthalmologist has to work with you. I have my sheet, tips for a successful ophthalmologist. Again, it will be in the vision course. They have to give you acuity. They have to, if you have a doctor that just does not know how to work with special kids, and I know it's frustrating, best thing you can do first is ask an opinion, and to see who's going to give you in your area the best visual. Even here in town, Claudia can jump in right now and just tell you how she thought she took go in somebody else, and she's like, you know, and it's, you just don't get the same information. When someone's good, like me, I don't care if you like me or not. If the information helps your child, you just take it. If it doesn't help your child, you know what I mean? And it's just the way it is. But doctors need to be looked at the same way. They have to be held accountable. If you're going to a doctor, like I was just having a great Skype with one of our classmates or group mates. Child has a rare genetics, and she has a specific movement that goes with it. And the doctor told her she had dystonia. And I'm like, what? Like, you know, like, again, I realized that there's movements that we're working with, but that's not one of them. So, in my opinion. And if you ask me, you're going to get my opinion. If you don't ask me, I'm not, you know, I don't walk up to people in the mall and say, you need a movement lesson, so you're good there. I probably should, but I don't. So anyway, in the course of vision in your child, again, it's just a freebie. It's not there to you know, but it's just there for you to understand. But your child is nonverbal. Your child knows. The way your child is moving is how your child is processing vision. I can spot it from a mile away. Again, I'm not looking to, and again, there can be a structural issue, but it also can be a functional issue, or it can be both. But anyone who's a professional should be able to do that in 3 seconds and get you what you're doing. And it is possible. Jessamy will tell you right now what it's like to go to a good ophthalmologist. She just came on, versus someone that just isn't as, you know, as I think. What did Dr. Cassie, I think it was to you, some people have it and some people don't, but that is with any profession. If you're not happy, I went to 26 doctors for my kid. 26 doctors could not find Haemophilus influenza. Now when I tell a doctor my kid had it for 3 years, they look at me like I had two heads. UCSD, Phoenix, Tucson, and National Jewish. You tell me why nobody found raging significant panniculitis on a 3-year-old when his hair was falling out and he had granuloma in the air. So, you know, so we can go on and on. It's not fair, but sometimes it takes a little extra. So I hope you found this beneficial. I look forward to your videos. I cannot do anything with just a picture, and I can't do anything with words. When you say to me, when my child's nonverbal, I need to see how your child's processing movement. I'm not looking for a diagnosis. When the child's had severe medical, I like to know, because again, intubation, IVs, prolonged NICU times, I can see where the system was compromised just due to the environment, and I'll add my 2 cents in there. But that's how my brain works the way it works. Other people, they go off of reports and they like to see it in writing. I'm a visual person, so I'm happy to help anyone that comes in here to at least get you going and just understanding movement processes. But submit a video. It's great. If you need privacy, I'm happy to set up, or Betsy is, my team's here, a consultation, and you can do a Skype. Anyone here will tell you it's more than beneficial, because you got my brain for an hour, and I set you up with lessons. If you want, there's a full movement assessment where I do a complete video review, add in a course and all this, and I watch you probably to like 3 weeks to a month, just to make sure you're on track and getting what you need for your child. Your child's unique, so are you. Thanks, guys. See you later. Have a good week.